Hey, welcome. It's me again, Mission, and welcome to another episode of Mission's Workout from Home, Season 5, Episode number 6. So today we talk about if you have a slip disc, what to do about it. We will talk about how to do it, how to work around it, and is it true that it's because you're having pain, therefore you shouldn't lift weights, or should you? So we're going to discuss all this. So before we start everything, just a little disclaimer, everything we're going to share here are just suggestions and opinions. So it's not to be taken as a medical advice. Make sure you seek a professional help before you continue to change any changes in your workout or even your diet for this case. Right? Okay, so before you start also, feel free to like, share so that more people can see this, can learn, and perhaps also even share this. If you know someone with a slip disc and what they can do about it. So this episode hopes to find you well. So before we start anything, just a quick definition. What is the meaning of slip disc? So a slip disc is defined as the lower backbone. So lower backbone and the lower back here. Simply put it, that there is an injury where the bone is like dislocated, dislocated, or there's a bit of like clash, so it's very sharp pain. Alright, so usually this happens among old people. However, there is a slight trend where people are getting in the 20s, 30s, and they're actually feeling a slip disc. They actually had a slip disc. So for those who are having slip disc, it's not a joke, it's painful. I have actually trained people who had slip disc, and we share with you maybe some ideas. But I'm sure even though slip disc or not, you will still want to lose some weight, or even your doctor may advise you to lose some weight. Just maybe it helps to reduce the burden on the slip disc, just maybe, right? So it depends on a lot of situations, but I will just share with you whether what should you do about it. Okay, so I'm just going to see how this plays out. Alright, so first one, when people having a slip disc or anything, after checking with your doctor, a professional and responsible doctor or physiotherapist will tell you that if you have a slip disc, it's best you best to do some activity or some drills or even mobility or even some call it rehab, prehab, whatever you call it, to just do some exercise. In other words, do some exercise and drills to help reduce the pain and the slip disc or even improve the situation. Alright, so what I'm trying to say here is that the idea is that they want you to be active. The idea is that the more active you are, you will let the body understand your activeness so that you don't get slip. The slip disc won't bother you too much. Okay, so long answer short, if you think why this happened, I used to find things a very complicated thing, but turns out it's not as tough as it seems. I want to give a shout out to some of my physio friends here. To actually educate me and share with me. Very simple. So if you have a slip disc, your back is weak, right? So what is the opposite of weak? Strong, right? So the idea is that so what's the opposite of clean? Dirty, right? Dirty, clean, right? Small, big. So it's the same. So in other words, if you're weak, the idea is that if you go and strengthen that part, there is a possibility for you that your back gets better from time to time. Okay, so the idea is that how do you do it? You can either A, strengthen the bone, or B, building muscle. So that is the idea, that if you build muscle or build muscle and strengthen the bone around the area, just maybe it will help to reduce the slip disc, or even better yet, reverse the effect, meaning from weak you become stronger. And look no further when we talk about, you think about something that helps you to build muscle and strengthen your bone, look no further than lifting weights. Lifting weights has shown a lot of times where it helps to improve the situation, and if anything but helps to reverse the effect. Okay, so the idea is that if you lift some weights, provided it meets a few criteria. Number one, do it in a very consistent manner, and number two, this is kind of obvious but often overlooked, is to do it with proper form. If you do it with proper form, you're consistent, you are going to get some results that hopefully help to reduce the slip disc post-pain problem. Okay? So What causes this slip disc? Inactiveness, loss of bone density, loss of muscle mass, being sedentary. So the long cut short, if you are inactive or you're not trying to be strong, that is what it happens or cause a slip disc. Okay, believe it or not, slip disc is not because of heavy impact. Sometimes slip disc, or you can ask the old people, right? They get a slip disc. How did it happen? Chances are it's not they attempt to pick up something very heavy, or they're trying to pick up, let's say, some heavy flower pot at the garden, or trying to pick up 5 kilo of sandbag or rice. It usually doesn't happen like that. Usually back pain, people experience back pain by picking up very simple thing. Oh, I bent over and pick up something. Boom, then next thing I know, I slip disc. Or I accidentally fall down on the toilet, boom, slip disc. So usually all these things happen. So it's not by very heavy impact. Things happens. We don't know exactly why, but one thing we are sure is that it's not a dead end. And please, 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 you can only remember one thing is, don't accept it as a norm that having a slip disc or a broken back is a norm. It shouldn't be the way, alright? If think about it, biology-wise, whether we are human or we are animals, when's the last time you see a monkey having slip disc or a cat having knee pain? It's very rare, extremely rare, alright? So why? Because all these animals are very active. Whereas for us humans, as we have technology or circumstances, someone with COVID, you won't be moving a lot. So you might want to find a way to keep yourself active and try to strengthen it, because opposite of weak is strong. So I hope you see where this is heading to. Okay, so is lifting heavy weights actually bad for your back? Well, it depends. If you are skillful enough to do it, there is no problem. So if you don't believe me, you can check at weightlifters. So who lift a lot of weight? Weightlifters, strongmen, some of the weight they use to lift, whether it's a back exercise, for example, a deadlift or carry or row, sandbag carry or whatever you call that thing, or Atlas stone. Look at strongmen. These people back, they are carrying like few hundred kilos or even 200 kilos and above, just with their bare hands and body. So, and they do it usually, they don't have a lot of slip disc issue. Okay, there is accidents do happen, make no mistakes. Even road has car accident, right? But that doesn't mean it's the end of the world, because in fact there are athletes who have slip disc. When they keep training back, right, they actually become better. And if anything but the pain starts to subside, then eventually the slip disc doesn't bother them, and they are officially sort of away from the slip disc. So it is possible, right? Why does this happen? I don't know the full picture, but one thing I'm sure is that it's because you attempt to be strong. The opposite of strong is weak, right? So if you think weak is being dangerous, or you think being strong is dangerous, try being weak. So I repeat again. If you think being strong is dangerous, try being weak, right? Weak is worse, right? It's more dangerous. So you want to just have an idea about how this is going on. So, okay, so long cut short, long. If I have to summarize this quick one is that, is it bad if you lift weights, therefore you shouldn't lift weights? The answer is completely not true. But of course, don't take to the extreme. First time you start to do a bad exercise, you straight away put the most heaviest weight that you can find in the gym, or just swing around. Obviously, don't do stupid things like this, right? What you want is make sure you start light. Just try it out, make sure you do it pain-free. If you can feel the back muscles, that's a given. If you can feel a bit pain, maybe you stop. You see whether your form is correct, get a professional help if you need to. Alright, a lot of people, they're very shy. Remember, asking questions is not because you're stupid, it's more because you want to find a solution. That is actually the proper way to approach. Right? Don't see yourself, you ask questions, you're stupid. I know school taught us like this, but it's not the right way. The right way is that it's because you're determined to find the answer, therefore you ask. Right? Because you want to be smart actually. Right? Because if you are smart, you're not lazy, and you find a solution. So you hire a professional, maybe they teach you how to do some things properly and so on. Alright? So the idea is that if you got slip disc, you want to, let's say, just try to strengthen the body, right? And lifting weights, you have to strengthen the bone and strengthen the muscle. So it's kind of like increasing the airbag in the car. Extra secure, right? If the airbag is flimsy, example, or there's no air inside. It's, once you knock your head on the steering, bam, then you feel pain. Same, so if the airbag is thicker or bigger or stronger, then when you hit, an accident happens, you hit, your chances of getting a head injury is very minimal. So kind of something like this, alright? So moral of the story, hey, go and get strong, lift some weights and stuff, okay? So when it comes to having this slip disc and stuff, or having a weak back, alright, I talk more towards a weak back, slip disc. Both slip disc is more on the bone, weak back is kind of like your muscles very cramped or get pain very fast, right? Of course, once again, if you want, before you do any changes, make sure you find a professional. I'm not a practitioner on all this. I'm just giving some exercise prescription, so to speak. Okay, so some people when have a slip disc, I used to think if you are slip disc, let's say this part L4, L5, right? This slip disc here. I'll show you guys. Okay, you find a slip disc here. You have a slip disc. I used to think it's because you have a weak lower back. If you strengthen here, problem solved. Most of the time it's true based on my experience. However, we also notice that sometimes it's not necessarily the case. There are multiple factors. So you see, because the back here is connected sometimes to the butt, to the hamstring, and if you go to the front, it's connected to here. So sometimes you will see a physiotherapist or even a doctor, general practitioner, they will ask them to strengthen here to save the backbone. Right? So there was once I was fortunate or unfortunate, as a client keep having back pain, the back gets stronger but I just keep having back pain. After finding a physio, turns out it was not because of the weak back. So to speak, it's something like more on because there's a tight, the butt is very weak and the core is very weak. So I have to do more butt exercise and core exercise, which makes sense. You have to protect that core, protect here. And if you have a here, it connects, there's a nerve to the butt. So it makes total sense, right? So that special case in particular, where she has to do, I have to program more on back, butt exercise and also core exercise for her, right? So this is some ideas. Whatever you do, whatever exercise you do, a good rule of thumb is it should be pain-free, or at bare minimum 80% pain-free, right? So if you're starting, you start, obviously there's a bit of pain, then a little bit of pain is actually fine. Don't just, oh, it's pain, I back. Try and be consistent, see how it goes, alright? Don't just jump to the gun, because your body needs some time to adapt, alright? It's also one thing I learned throughout my experience. So, let's say if you want, so we discovered, so back to just now, we discover sometimes, right, there's a weak point on the butt, sometimes on the core, sometimes on the hamstring. There are cases that's on the hamstring also. So the idea is that, if I put the camera down, so you have an idea. Okay, so the idea is that, now you see how, because the back is here, so you want to, if you cannot work on here, you work around it, right? So you strengthen the stronghold, so to speak, so this whole area. So that's why training some lower back exercise, some butt exercise, some hamstring exercise, some core exercise, that may actually help, alright? So this is a slide to the next program of this, where I'm going to show you some exercise that hopefully it is more pain friendly. So if you slip this or what, you may actually consider to do this, right? But give it a try. If you have some extreme weird painfulness or anything, you might want to seek a professional. I'm just giving here some general recommendations, so to speak. These are not guidelines or hard rules here, so you can do. The idea is that how to do all this workout to strengthen here, the butt, the hamstring, all this, ideally pain-free, and also helps to build muscle and increase the bone density. In this case, strengthen the bone. Alright? So I'm going to start with the core first. Alright? How many times, or you might have experienced, when you want to do a plank, you realize that after plank, when things get tough or when it gets harder, you start to feel a pain over here, right? How many of you experience that? Now, if you experience that, what you can do is try to modify it a little bit, or long answer short, when it starts to feel pain, then don't do that. Alright. So example, if you have to plank for 1 minute, and 1 minute later, let's say every time at 50 seconds, things start to get wacky, start to feel the lower back. Then chances are you might need to stop at 50 seconds. Does this mean we cannot progress? We still can progress. Just maybe you can add a little bit of weight, or just try to increase 1 second more. See if it starts to cause you pain now. And who knows, the body can adapt. If 1 week you can add 1 second, 10 weeks is a lot, right? 10 seconds. You ask anyone, add an additional 10 seconds to a plank is very, very phenomenal job already. Okay, especially you can do it in under a week or 2 months, right? So these are some exercises that so I'm going to do some exercise to strengthen the core, strengthen the lower back, and also strengthen the hamstring. Okay, so let's get into it. I'm going to move the camera so you can have a look at the view. So I'm going to give you some idea. So I'm going to start with the core first, because for most people, if you have a slip disc, you might want to strengthen the core. Every time, example, when you squat, you have a lower back pain. There is a slight possibility that your core is not fully engaged, or even worse, you actually round your back. So here are some ideas to sort of teach you how to strengthen your core, so to speak. And it works, by the way, so you can try. Okay, so I'm going to move this down. Right? Okay, so you can do, I'm sure you also tried to do crunches, and then you find that crunches, when you do, you keep having pain, right? So this one helps to reduce. So I start with the simple one, just a plank first. I think plank, everyone knows the drill. The idea is that you want to keep your body straight, like a tabletop. So if you don't want to be like this, or worse, you drop your groin like that. Okay? So make sure your body is straight. So once again, don't move your lower part down like this. If you do like this, you ask me for trouble. Just stay sort of straight, or keep your butt higher. If you're still feeling pain over the lower back, one tip for you is actually to squeeze your butt while you're doing the plank. The idea is that not to cheat, but more on like protecting your lower back as a safety policy, like an insurance policy, so to speak. Okay. However, if you do plank, it's tough for you, whether your body weight is too higher or what. One good alternative you can do is doing things like bird dog and dead bugs. I will show you what it is. And actually, a lot of Olympians are actually weightlifters. They are actually doing this also. So hey, it works for them, good enough for them to win some medal, look good. Why not, right? We can also do it, right? So it just show you how it's done. So you have to do this is a dead bug here. So what you want to do here is lift your arm up, all the way out, all the way up. So think of extending out. Don't think of dropping down. So from here, extend out, all the way up. Extend up, all the way up. So what you don't want to do is drop. So I'll show you what it means. This is relax. Don't relax. Whatever you do, keep your lower back, or we call it the tailbone, up. So don't drop it like this. Keep it up. So here, one side, each side. Okay? So once you're done with this, another alternative, this is a dead bug. So you can actually do bird dogs as well. So what you want to do is similar like the dead bug. You lift your hand up, legs up, extend all the way out. Touch, extend up, touch. What you don't want to do, common mistake, don't arch the back. So the back don't arch, just keep it flat. Just extend up. Don't arch. If you arch like this, then you feel a pain. Especially if you slip this, I wouldn't recommend you to arch. Just keep your body straight, make sure everything's stable. Up, all the way down. All the way down. Alright, so just keep things simple, so to speak. Okay? So you can try all this. Let's say worst comes to worst, for some reason you really want to do crunches but you can't do. There is an alternative where you put your hand behind, or you can put a towel behind. Alright? For me, I'll just show you for learning purposes. Pretend I have a towel behind. So from here, all the way up, all the way down. So you want to keep it here. So all the way up, all the way down. All the way up, all the way down. So you notice I don't go all the way up because, how to say, I face it, I'm not very strong to move up because I don't want to use my back, I just want to use my core. So all the way up, that's it. Okay? So these are some workouts that you can do. Now what about the lower back? Lower back, there's a few versions. I'll show you one lying down and slowly progress to a harder and difficult one. So I'll start you with what we call a Superman. We call it a Superman back extension, right? So some call it a Superman because it's like flying like Superman. I'll show you what it means. The idea of this exercise is simple. you want to feel over here. Okay? So you leave it over here, lift your hand up, lift your hands up, alright, and just lift one of the up. Squeeze your butt, lift your hand and leg up together. Squeeze your butt, hand up. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so the idea is that if you do this, you squeeze your butt, you strengthen here as well. Okay? Let's say for example, if you do the first 2 reps, you don't feel pain on rep number 6 example, you start to feel pain, then maybe stop at 5. Write it down, today I did 5. Let's see how you can improve. So these are some ideas. Alright? So we talk about the back, we talk about lying down, now those are standing. I'm a huge fan of standing stuff because we sit a lot. So just show you how it's done. You've probably seen this a lot of time doing a classic Romanian deadlift. So what you do is you bring you can use a luggage, a bag, or anything. But for today, I'm actually going to use a luggage and just show you what it is. Okay? So hang on here. Okay? So the idea is that you can actually Google it and find, it's called a Romanian deadlift. Alright? Doing Romanian deadlift, the idea is you strengthen your lower back here, right? This area here. At the same time, it helps to strengthen the butt and the hamstring. I personally like this exercise a lot because if you do it properly, you will feel a lot of hamstring and also a little bit of here, which it helps to strengthen your back, so to speak. Okay, because like I said, you got sleep this, right? The opposite of weak is strong. So if you get stronger, not only it helps to build muscle, it helps to increase your bone density or your bone, strengthen your bone, so to speak. Okay, so what you do is you pick it up over here, you lift it up like this, then you lift up and sit all the way back. Go as slow as you can. Shoot all the way. So don't just think of squatting down. This is a hinge movement. Just think of your butt trying to go back. So when your butt go back, then you begin the movement. Think chest up, butt back. 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 And up. Chest up, butt back. And up. Okay? So the idea is that 3 things to take note when you're doing a Romanian deadlift. Number 1, make sure your chest is up, your butt is back. Number 2, knee can bend but cannot go forward. I repeat, the knee can bend but you cannot go forward. Alright, so once again, I'll show you a quick one. All the way down. Up. When you come up, right, squeeze your butt, shoot yourself up so you can feel a bit of muscles here and allow the hamstring as well. Okay? So these are some ideas. Okay? So what about last one, the glutes, right? Also known as the butt. Okay? So I want to use a bench, but let's pretend another bench, or should I say, if you're a beginner, I wouldn't recommend the bench yet. You can use it later, but use the floor to teach you as a guide how to squeeze your butt. So remember why squeeze the butt again? Once again, a potential slip is, the weakness is usually here, here, and somewhat at the hamstring. So we talked about here already, we talked about the hamstring already, Romanian deadlift, and last but not least, you want to do some group exercise. In this case, I'm going to show you how to do a bridge. Okay, so I'll show you what it means. I will do without weight, and then later I'll show you with weights. This one also doing lying down as well. When I show you all these things, of course you can engage with me so I can help you out. But if you have a personal trainer and you have a slip disc and you have consulted your physiotherapist and stuff, they ask you to do some workout to strengthen your back, hamstring exercise, right? These are these examples you can find on what to do. Alright? So hopefully this gives you some idea. But let's go on and I'll show you how to do the bridge. Okay? So the bridge, I need to move a bit lower, pardon me. Okay, so if you do the bridge properly, you should feel on your butt. Okay? So what you want to do is you keep your hands, you just lie down, place your leg onto your, just keep it close like this. From here, without using your lower back, squeeze your butt and push all the way up. A suggestion for you, is to look at your groin when you come up. Instead of looking up, I recommend you to look here. This is to prevent further extension on the back. That means we don't want the back to over, like arch a little bit, so to speak. Okay, so all the way up, just tuck in your chin or look at your private part. Squeeze, down, control. Squeeze, down, control. Okay, if you find it easy, you can do single leg, right? Or even like this. You've seen people do it before, right? So I'll show you from this angle. Right, another leg, for example. Right? So whatever you do when you come up, squeeze your butt and pause in there. That is the idea. Okay, so here's the deal. Add with weights. If you're getting stronger, maybe body weight you don't feel, or you start to feel, you want to increase. I say this a lot of time. When you want to train, logic dictates to see results, you need to progress. If you fail to progress, you get the same thing over again. So, right, so from here, you squeeze your butt, squeeze all the way up, all the way down, all the way up, all the way down, all the way up, all the way down, up, all the way down. Right? So these are some examples of exercise that gives the glutes, aka the butt. Okay? So, by the end of this exercise, you just stick to this. Thank you so much, and I'll show you that. Pretty much about it. So, if you're having slip disc, is it because of lifting weights? Probably not, because the last time I checked, my grandma had a slip disc not because she goes to the gym, it's because she was in the toilet, she fell down, things happen. Right? And does this mean it's the end of the world? No. Does this mean it should be a norm as you age? No. Right? Because, like I say, you name me like have you ever seen an old monkey having a slip disc as they age, or a cat having knee pain as they age? I have yet to see. Even if there is, it's very rare. Why? Because humans are not so active. So one thing to active is exercising, whether you are doing cardio, or better yet, lift some weights. Because lift some weights, cardio helps to lose fat, burn fat, make no mistakes. But lifting weights help to build muscle and strengthen the bone. Something cardio may be limited in giving this kind of benefit. Okay, so if you're having a slip disc, after you consult a doctor, doctor says go and do some exercise to strengthen. Ask them strengthen where. If they tell you it's on the app, we show you just now, bed bugs, bird dogs, plank, squeeze the butt, right? Okay, if the doctor say do some, or the physiotherapist say, hey, you're going to strengthen your glutes, alright, do the squeeze your butt, do some bridge, right? Squats, lunges, which I didn't show, but these are just examples. Hopefully you get the idea. And last but not least, if you're more specific, target the back, what do you do? Well, Romanian deadlifts, rows, deadlifts, lat pull downs, any back machines. So these are a lot of examples. Of course, now the gym is closed as for now. So what we can do, we work out from home. Hey, do the Superman rows. You can do some barbell rolls, or even do the Romanian deadlifts I showed you just now. Just use our lower back and hamstring. So there's a lot of possibility, endless possibilities. So just because you have slip disc, you can't go to the gym, doesn't mean it's the end of the world. You can still do things. Never ever tell yourself you cannot. Right? Take care of yourself. Love yourself. Right? So there's some ideas. So I hope this episode helps you. So if you find this video helpful, right? My goal is simple. As long as I can help one person, that will do already. Alright? I don't need a lot of fancy lights or a lot of viral and stuff. I don't need that. All I need is just if this video can benefit someone, pass it forward and let them learn. Because all these things I used to pay. I need to pay only I can know what's going on. Experience paying money or time or whatever you have it. So now that I've learned as for what I know for now, I share it to you so you can share it to the others. So remember, if you have your loved ones having a slip disc or what, hey, don't go and get them use weight and go heavy weight. Just do small little stuff. Right? Let them do some body weight stuff like the bridges now. Just try get into moving, strengthen the back, strengthen the glutes, strengthen the core. Hopefully this will be easier for you in your life, so you don't have to walk around nagging pain. Because who loves nagging pain? Especially on the lower back, right? Sit, lower back. Sleep, lower back. Almost everything standing, you need the lower back. So point being, low back is very important. Make sure you protect it. You slip this, not the end of the world. Try to rebuild. Ask the doctor, how can I strengthen it back? What can I do? Which part is weak? A responsible doctor will tell you, or physiotherapist will tell you what to do. If they just tell you, don't do this, don't do that, here's 200 here, pay 200 ringgit, I think it's doing a big disservice to you. Right? So get moving, and always remember, that's you can always work out from home. Alright, so thanks so much for joining once again. So I hope this episode finds you well and help you to at least have an idea if you ever slip this or you know someone who has slipped this, what they can do. Right? Don't worry, I'll put a small description at the end of this video so you can have a look or some recaps what you can expect. And I'll catch you on next week to the next episode. Alright, so next week what we're going to talk about? Next week I'll put something very near and dear to my heart, which is about why you should lift weights even if your goal is fat loss, right? Why not just running only? Why need to bother lift some weights and build muscle? Right, so I'll share with you next week why bother, how does it benefit us, some do's and don'ts as usual. Alright, so till then, you guys take care and always remember you can always work out from home. Till then, bye bye.